got shut down by Representative Cheney. You didn't get to say what you wanted to say, so we wanted to give you the opportunity to say to the people what you wanted to say.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to talk about it. Yeah, it is unfortunate I got shut down on the House floor, and the reason why is some people want to go home, other people want to stay and get the work done for good Idahoans who are trying to keep their jobs, who are trying to stay safe and keep their families safe. And it's unfortunate that what I really wanted to say is I'm a bit disgusted today. It is appalling to me that it took this many months to even get here in the Capitol. And when we have hundreds of nurses, hundreds of INL employees losing their jobs because they don't want to comply with an unfair mandate and one that could put them at risk. If you look and it's appalling to me. The House got some work done.
They did.
A majority of House members here did see the need and the urgency to get this work done for Idahoans. I'm disappointed and dismayed at the minority of the House members who voted against all that. I'm disappointed and dismayed at the entire body across the rotunda. That's what we say here. The Senate. I'm disgusted at the Senate for not getting anything done. They only had a floor vote on one thing, and it was a window dressing issue to just say, hey, we're against the Biden mandates. But what I'm against is mandates by businesses, by Biden, by anyone, by the state government, by anyone forcing people into medical decisions that they're not comfortable with, prying into their private medical decisions, medical history by asking them what their vaccination status is. Shouldn't be happening in Idaho. We should be leading out on protecting personal rights, individual freedoms, but we're not. People want to get home and they are unsympathetic, unempathetic with the troubles that families are going through. We have personal stories of family members who are put in the most difficult position about choosing between the livelihood of their families and a decision that might put them at risk by taking an unproven vaccination. And I do want to dwell on that just a little bit. If you look at VAERS data, people are getting injured and people are dying from the vaccination. There is no certainty on this. We are told that it's safe and effective in public paid for advertisements, and we're told that it's safe for pregnant women. It hasn't been out enough months to show whether or not a pregnant woman and her child are truly safe. There's no way you can say without question that it is safe or unsafe at this point. That being said, people should and ought to have the decision for themselves, not being forced on them. And so it's, like I said at the beginning, I'm disgusted by all this. We came here to do work and no work got done. We should not be sine dying here. The Senate, I heard some disturbing comments today coming out of the Senate. Take off your mask and speak up. Well, one of the bills we were considering was not forcing kids to wear masks.
Thank you for that.
But it comes down to it. We can't even get that bill heard over in the Senate. It's we can do a lot better than this. Like the good Representative Hank said down there on the floor. Voters, pay attention. Know how your legislators voted. Hold every senator accountable. The entire Senate did not do any work on this. They heard 3 bills and did nothing with them. The Senate needs to be fully accountable. All those people here on the House floor are voting no. They need to be held fully accountable. Get good people to run for office, support them in office, and if you can't find good people to run for office yourself. There's some changes that need to be made in Idaho, and I'll be right there with you, right there behind you.
Would you say that this was a gross waste of taxpayer money for these 3 days of session?
It's a gross waste of taxpayer money in that we didn't get the work done that the families and workers needed. But it's not a gross waste of money in that it exposed those who are not working for the people. Now it's up to the people to hold them accountable, and I'll be right there with them. Health Freedom Idaho will be with them, and a lot of other groups out there are very interested in protecting rights, and we need to work together, unite, go door to door, campaign in your local areas. It's the power of the people that works here, and we need to take it away from the power of the leadership that has let us down time and time again.
Do you happen to know how much it cost the people these 3 days? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but you're such the money guy that usually you know these things.
I don't. I've heard numbers before that it's somewhere between, $15,000 and $20,000 a day, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, it's taxpayer money, and we ought to be spending it wisely and being productive when we are spending it. And I feel like we haven't been very productive at all today. The only thing accomplished this week was a politically charged campaign effort against one of the best representatives in Idaho. And apparently that's what the money seemed to be used for. And
Yep.
we can do a lot better in Idaho.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. We know you have things going on, but I appreciate because everything you said was spot on as usual, Representative Nate. Thank you.
Thank
And I
you.
want to thank you for your House bill work.
Yes.
429.
Yes.
My daughter's been so abused with mass. And I've watched so
Can I
many
say
kids.
something
Yes,
about that?
Please.
429. We did the work in the House. We got it passed through committee. We got it passed through the House. It went to the Senate, and a politically charged State Affairs chairman, I'll name her, Patty Ann Lodge, stuffed it in her drawer after all that work. Didn't care about kids, didn't care about parents in these districts who are mandating masks. That bill, while it's dead in this little mini session, is not dead. It'll be coming back. It did have a positive impact, and at least 2 districts I've heard of rescinded their mask mandates, probably because of the political pressure. But that bill will be back in the 2022 session, and we'll hold the Senate accountable. Did you really mean to just say come back in 2022 and we'll take care of it then? We'll find out.
So will that live in the drawer until we come back into session, or do you have to then run it again?
It will be run again, and I'll do everything in my power to make it successful, because parents and kids are suffering in Idaho districts. They have no power on this, and we need to restore the power to the parents.
All right, you hear that, Health Freedom Idaho? We're going to have our work cut out for us to help support the bill that Representative Nate will bring next session to unmask our kids. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you for being here. You
Oh,
guys are amazing.
well, what a
Every
waste
day.
of our time
Just
too,
blown
right?
away. Yeah, just blown away.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. All right. So you heard it. I'm not the only one thinking it. This seems like we funded the censuring of a good representative, and the removal of her from her committee, where she won't be able to represent her constituents, and Chairman Bedke, who's running against Representative Giddings for Lieutenant Governor, was able to make her look really bad in the press, right? On our taxpayer money. Well, this is disappointing. I could say, Misty, is there any point in writing Patty Ann now? No, because they have sine died. The only thing you can do now regarding Patty Ann is to get somebody to run against her if they aren't already, and help them win. So, in case you're just joining, because I see Garth now, Patty Ann Lodge put the mask exemption bill, Representative Nate's mask exemption bill, in the drawer. She put several bills in the drawer, and then they heard 3, which I testified on, but everybody had 2 minutes to testify on 3 bills. I can tell you the lobbyists that were there that are threatened by health freedom. Somebody from St. Luke's was there. Somebody from Micron was there. IACI was, of course, there. And they all testified against the 3 bills that were even being heard, which only one of them did Health Freedom Idaho really support, because we're not going to support bad legislation. I mean, just because we're feeling desperate for protection, Idaho deserves good legislation, you know? So, like Representative Nate's bill, that was one that we would have supported if Senator Lodge had allowed for it to be heard, but she didn't. She's retiring. I hear that. We hear that, honestly, unless she has announced that she's retiring, we hear that every time. I hear every time that Chairman Wood is retiring, or that Martin is retiring, or that Lodge is retiring, and then yet they run again, you know. I think it's part of the game that they play. So I don't know if she's officially announced or not. That's also the rumor around here, is that Chairman Wood is retiring, and that's why he doesn't care that he didn't hold the Health and Welfare Committee during this 3-day session. So many good bills went to the Health and Welfare Committee, the House side, just to die because he just decided not to hold committee. And so then, of course, the talk is, well, he's retiring, so he'll take the hit on that. He'll take the fall, and people can be mad at him because he's not running again. But the fact of the matter is, the people have the attention span of a gnat. And that's the truth. And then, they don't hold them accountable at voting time. They get all pissed off during legislative session, and we have a short session. It's only 3 months, as it should be. And then at voting time, people are like, oh, I'm going to vote R. I mean, that's an R. That must be good. And they forget about everything that took place during session, about how all the health freedom bills go in the drawer, and the people don't get heard. And they just have, the attention span of a gnat, and they forget about it, and then they run again. So I don't know if she's running again or not for sure. So she said, not my district, so she'll no longer be my senator. Well, if she runs again, somebody better run against her. Sorry, let me see. Putting things in the drawer. How do they get away with putting things in the drawer? I don't understand. Okay, because chairmen have the right to put bills in the drawer, and I could debate this either way. I'd like to see some different parameters of why, not just willy-nilly making the decision as to why they can put a bill in the drawer. I know Representative Nate has made the very strong argument that every bill should be heard. My concern is that would be used to extend our session. And the last thing I want to see is Idaho legislative session lasting all year long and stealing our freedom all year long. I'd really like to limit the amount of time they have to steal our freedom. So I understand the intention behind that. What I think is that I think one of the ways that we could do this better is that the people's bills do get heard, and they come first, and lobbyist bills come last, and lobbyist bills can be decided upon. That's what I would like to see. I think then we can keep our sessions short, and the people get heard before the lobbyists. That's my solution. I'm certainly not an attorney or a legislator, but that's my 2 cents on how we could fix that. But at the moment, Mandy, they are allowed to put whatever bills in the drawer that they want to. And then they're just never heard by the committee. So what happens to Health Freedom Idaho is we get our good bills passed through the House, oftentimes with a veto-proof majority, and then they go to the Senate chairman, and he puts it in the drawer, so the Senate committee never has to hear it, and the Senate floor never has to hear it. And how that impacts voting time is that we can't say, because people ask Health Freedom Idaho for a voting guide. Well, the Senate never really votes on health freedom bills, so it's kind of hard for us to tell you that there's a voting guide because they don't vote on health freedom bills, and they're protected from having to do so. So you see what I mean? Some of these senators, we don't know exactly how they would vote. We have an idea based on how they vote on other things or based on conversations, but we don't actually know. We can't get record of that. So you can see how the chairmen have this big power trip, this big power play to keep the Senate from actually having to vote on health freedom bills, and that voters being able to make educated decisions at voting time if health freedom is their primary issue. And I think that's a problem. I think that's a big problem. And that's probably part of how the Senate gets to stay so swampy. Okay, I hope I answered that. Let's see if I have any other questions here before I sign out. There's a few more people watching, so just a quick recap. The House passed some bills, the really good ones, like Representative Tammy Nichols had a great bill. It went to the drawer of the Health and Welfare Committee because Chairman Wood wouldn't hold committee. A couple other bills addressed the age of consent for medical treatment. Right now it's 14, and I didn't get to see those bills. because they went to, I mean, I guess I could look them up online and read them, but I was like, what's the point? I got to read the ones I have to testify on. But my understanding is it was handling that age of consent, and that's a big problem in Idaho. Did you know that a child at age 14 can consent to this COVID jab? They can consent to an abortion. They can't consent to sex at 14, but they can consent to an abortion without the parents' knowledge. And that was going to be addressed in a bill. That went into the drawer of Chairman Wood, who didn't hold committee, so it was never heard. What a waste of your money. What a giant waste of your money. So the ones that remained, the House did a great job at least taking the time to read these bills, debate these bills, vote on these bills. Not that I agreed with everything that happened. They sent it over to the Senate. Patty Ann Lodge put several bills in the drawer, only allowed 3 to be heard. So to my understanding, all that was going to go to the Senate floor were well, not even those 3, because those got all turned down in her committee. But I don't know if there was any other committees that passed, so I don't know that. But anyway, the Senate just sine-died. They just sine-died. And the House, not everybody in the House wanted to sine-die because they felt like they hadn't done all they could to represent you. And they're right. Not that they didn't try, but the legislature as a whole and the Senate for sure didn't try. So we are nothing ahead. We literally have nothing more than what we started with on Monday. We've all been working around the clock and we have nothing to show for it except for Representative Priscilla Giddings being censured. And I'm not real happy that my money was spent that way. And I'll say it again, I probably won't get off this soapbox for a long time. In my opinion, this was Speaker Bedke's electioneering session. From the beginning of this session, I was saying, or before it, when they said we were going to have session, I said, you watch. We will get nothing. The Senate will stop everything, and the only thing that will happen is Representative Priscilla Giddings will be censured, and we will have effectively paid for Bedke's electioneering. And I take no joy in being right, but that's exactly what happened. So I'm telling you, friends, if you want anything to change here at the Capitol, the Senate has to change. And we have to say no to funding campaigning and electioneering. It's not funny. It's just like so absurd that that's what we just paid for. I don't think it could be any more absurd. So a lot of hardworking people are leaving, and I'm going to head home and see my children I haven't seen in almost 3 days. I'm out for now, friends. Take care.